Hello, everybody in 5103. This is Adam Staple, and this is my presentation on my literature review dealing with e-learning and the blended classroom rotation model in K-12 music education. I've been incorporating technology in my music program for many years now, and over the course of doing 5103, when we got to the section on the different modalities and I read about the blended classroom station rotation model, I thought, wow, this is what I've been wanting to do for all of these years. Really like the idea that students can go back and forth between the kinds of face-to-face activities and online activities that I already do within my classroom, and that it would support doing things individually in small groups or in whole class activities. Some of the potential benefits I've always envisioned for blended learning in a music classroom would be for students to be able to do their learning activities on or off site, for them to be able to achieve mastery by repeating lessons or assessments until they really get it, to get private feedback or assistance from a teacher or from their friends, which is important in a performance-based room where people can be shy and nervous, and to have it act as a shared knowledge resource. So with that being said, my goal in doing this small literature review is to examine the existing academic literature and see if there are any common trends. Are there advantages, benefits, disadvantages, challenges that are always mentioned? Are there particular pieces of software or hardware that are always used? And are there any areas for further research? Given that this is a mini-lit review, I limited my search scope to only academic sources, only used 8 sources. I searched for the terms music or music ed, combined with blended learning or blended classroom, or the related terms of hybrid e or online learning, and made sure that all literature I selected represented both in-class and face-to-face teaching. So let's have a look at the literature. Yoonjin Kim had a case study of an elementary school in South Korea. This case study looked at 16 grade 5 or 6 students who had 8 sessions totaling 10 hours of time. They did 5 music creation projects. The teacher would introduce the concept and the technology, explain what they had to do, and the students would then group up, select their media, and create, share, and peer review their work, which would be creative music. Students would use blogs as showcases and as learning spaces by posting and then commenting on other students' work there. Observations Kim made from the study was there was increased engagement among the students. There was sharing of learning experiences and collaboration. The activities were creative, very diverse. The students were self-directed, and that they enjoyed the real practical experience of creating a real-world kind of artifact. So then we look at Renee Crawford and her study on Project Music X. This was developed for use in rural or remote settings, but she says the positive response would suggest that it would be effective in any classroom blended setting. She studied 440 grade 7 and 8 students, and through the use of this project they used social media, blogs, music creation activities like we saw in Kim. They also used online activities for accessing resources, master classes, and streams of concerts. Again, they reported there was real authentic engagement with the learning activities and that it accommodated different styles and skills. Wise, Greenwood, and Davis in 2011 looked at 9 music teachers in 4 New Zealand high schools. Like the other studies, we see music composition, music creation tools being used, in this case Sibelius and GarageBand, and a social platform, in this case YouTube, being used for students to post their work and their performances, and also to view podcasts, demos, and any other relevant content to the course. The idea of using YouTube to do this, to post digital music creating using digital tools, is considered very authentic, real-world approach to music making. And as regards student engagement, students could work independently with very little assistance required. Orman and Whitaker in 2010 studied one-to-one applied lessons in both face-to-face and online settings. The study involved 3 middle school students, 2 tubas and 1 saxophone. They did 6 lessons. 3 of them were face to face, 3 of them were online using a webcam setup. Drawbacks were noted as the limited field of view and camera control, and the difficulty in making fine judgments on tone quality and expression, things that would be necessary in a applied lesson. However, the students still commented that it was fun and enjoyable, and interestingly, it was noted that there was 36% more time spent off task in face-to-face lessons as opposed to online, and students played more during the online lessons as opposed to face-to-face. At this point, I could find no more articles dealing with blended learning in K-12 context, so we moved to articles dealing with blended learning in undergraduate university contexts. So we have Kotsupadu, who again studied one-to-one applied lessons, this time at a university level, and advantages, disadvantages noted by the teachers. The technology was using Skype and Google Hangouts to enable synchronous online lessons, and students also used YouTube to post recorded performances for evaluation. Again, we see audio and video quality cited as not entirely optimal for lessons, although one teacher did say there was more objectivity in assessment of online performances than she would use face-to-face, which was interesting. Draper and Hitchcock in 2008 looked at 65 music technology students in a university-level conservatory. These students supplemented their classroom activities with the use of an online discussion forum. There wasn't any specific blended learning activity prescribed beyond just discussion, but the students and the teachers reported that the use of both of these modalities gave rise to what they called a hidden curriculum, where students were collaborating, sharing, and building learning culture, which eventually extended beyond the confines of the classroom. The students themselves reported increased confidence, engagement with material, promotion of critical thought, all good things. Chong in 2008 studied using blogging to enable blended learning in an undergraduate theory class. The students in this class would use a collaborative blog to upload, discuss, and peer evaluate their assignments. It was reported that the quieter students in the class had, because of anonymity, had this stronger platform to contribute their thoughts and opinions, and it highlighted everybody's diverse musical backgrounds. Chong makes reference to a shift from the idea of content consumption to content authoring, which I find is interesting. And I love the idea of what he terms personalized yet syndicated learning in an online social setting where there's collaborative knowledge construction and yet also the opportunity to individually showcase your work. And finally, Degolo and Dango and Catuli in 2011 looked at using blended learning to increase access to music education. This was a project in Kenya where there was limited access to undergraduate music education. They used online activities to combine with class lectures in composition, transcription, notation activities, and the technology they used included forums, virtual classrooms, blogs, and wikis. So, what conclusions can we draw from this? Well, for me, I look at the commonalities and the words and phrases which keep cropping up across all of these studies. Things like increased engagement, uh, engaging in authentic, real world activities that mirror things that are actually done, like creating digital music and posting it online, enabling personalized, learner centric online environments through these uses of social networks, and similarly enabling that collaborative approach that lets everybody highlight their diversity. Drawbacks noted really only have to do with the one-to-one applied types of lessons, the audio quality and limited control there, but that's not really the kind of teaching that you would do within a K-12 general classroom situation. Also, I would note that the technology, there appears to be commonality there as well. Social platforms, collaborative platforms like blogs, YouTube, discussion forums, and wikis keep cropping up, as do tools for digital music creation like GarageBand and Sibelius, although there are literally hundreds of different tools that would fit the bill. And so, what do we take from this in terms of what is the next step? Personally, I believe that this indicates that there needs to be more research into actual practical applications of blended music classrooms in real world contexts, not just small studies incorporating small numbers of students, but actual instances where teachers have gone ahead and created blended music classrooms. Uh, and I think the way to do this is to look to the non academic literature for the way forward. When I was doing my research, I plugged the same search terms into just a straight Google search as opposed to an academic search and returned 10 times more results and examples of teachers who are just creating blended music classrooms and then blogging about them and writing about them for other websites. So I think that really that's what we need to start doing is look at trailblazers and study what they're doing. Thank you for listening. This has been my presentation. Enjoy.